Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll discuss how to properly do a wireless site survey. We get asked the question all the time, how far does an access point or a wireless router broadcast go? And the answer is simple. The answer is, it depends. And it depends on a lot of factors. So let's go through some of those factors to help you determine what part of wireless you can control versus which part is out of your control. The things that are inside of your control are the top 4 things on this list: the transmit output power, the signal strength, the physical placement, and the number of access points are all within your control. The one part that is not in your control is the environmental factor, which is what makes Wi-Fi different in every location. This can be due to different types of construction materials or RF or other radio frequency interference. When you are initially thinking of a design or a layout for your Wi-Fi system, we recommend you keep a few things in mind. First, remember that the orientation of an access point does not matter because they broadcast in an omnidirectional pattern, or in other words, they create a large 360-degree bubble where the access point is the center of that bubble. With this omnidirectional pattern, it makes it easier for you to install because you now have the flexibility to mount the access point either from the ceiling, place it on a tabletop where it's facing up, or mount it on the side on a wall. The orientation of the access point and the way that it is mounted will not affect the broadcast pattern as it is omnidirectional. The second thing to keep in mind is that you want the Wi-Fi broadcast signal to overlap a little bit. The reason for the overlap is so that you can easily and consistently have mobile devices transfer from one access point to the other without a drop or lapse in coverage. If the bubbles just touch each other, there may not be enough overlap there to provide a mobile device the ability to transfer easily and seamlessly from one access point to the next. So in those overlap zones, you want to have a dB rating of -60 to -65 as a minimum so that that transfer can be seamless and take place easily and quickly without interruption to the connection of the mobile device. Remember, signal strength is inside your control. The way that you control that is by where you place the access points. There are several steps to being able to do a proper site survey. The first step is obviously to get on site. It's hard to know what signal strength you're getting if you're not there. The second thing you want to do is identify the locations where you would put an access point. These locations could have been the ones that you predetermined when you initially did the layout of the home, and you're on site now to verify the signal strength in each location, or you could be trying to determine their locations now. Whichever the case, the point of the site survey is so that you can verify that you have wireless coverage everywhere and you aren't left with holes in coverage. This enables you to be able to know what kind of Wi-Fi coverage you're going to get before you finalize the installation. Now, an important point to remember here is that you do not need an internet connection in order to do this. In fact, you don't even have to mount the access point where you're going to put it. If you're doing this on a temporary basis before you finalize your installation, you can grab an Ethernet cable and temporarily drag it across the floor and plug the access point in the location that you would eventually mount it. When the access point powers up, it will automatically start to broadcast its default SSID. You can use several different programs, whether on a laptop or on a mobile device, to walk around and find out what your signal strength is in each location of the home. Once you do that, you can determine whether that's a good place for the access point or whether it needs to be moved. The solution to solving a hole in wireless is one of two things. You can either move an access point or you can add an access point. Because if you have a hole in your Wi-Fi coverage, those are the only two ways to fill that hole. Then finally, once you're satisfied that all of your criteria have been met and that you have good signal strength in every spot that you need it, you can then finalize the install by mounting the access point in that location. For information regarding which programs can be used on both laptops and mobile devices, please refer to our videos on those subjects. Thanks for watching.